What up, what up, what up, everybody? What up, world? Welcome. Welcome to the Fanatic Sports Podcast. It's Blocker, episode 44. It's going to be a fun episode, I think. We got some really dope people with us today. My man James, my man Terrill, aka Cool Beans. Shout out to Cool Beans. Will be joining us. There's one right there. And James will be along shortly. But definitely a pleasure to have Vets Plus Sports joining us tonight. Little nightcap. Before we get the night started, Cool Beans is with us now. And excited to have him here. So before everybody gets here, I do want to jump right in and start with a couple announcements. Don't forget the Fanatic Sports Podcast Fantasy Football League is not this Sunday, but next Sunday is the draft. Super excited. Next Sunday is the draft. We're gonna have a blast. If you missed the game show, you missed some fun. We had an absolute blast during the game show. I cracked up laughing because I made the questions and I got the opportunity to watch people struggle with NFL trivia, but we had fun. There's more fun to be had as well. Look, man, we got it. These guys are superstars on YouTube, and so I'm not gonna waste any more time talking, blindly with Cool Beans and James here, man. Hey, a pleasure to have y'all with us, guys. Thank y'all so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah, man, it's a blast. It's gonna be a blast. Do you guys get into fantasy football?
I'm I'm doing a draft right now as we speak, finishing it up.
Oh yeah, man. So we are to determine the draft order for our podcast, Fantasy League. We did NFL trivia, 15 questions. Not too hard, but kind of tricky because it was kind of like multiple choice, but then there's so like one of the questions was which team has the most Super Bowl wins, right? So trick question because it's not only the Steelers but the Patriots as well, and so that kind of trickery, and you only had like 20 seconds to answer and time for folks to rethink and overthink and that sort of thing. But it's cool, man. It's gonna be fun because it's meant for creators, and so we start with making content creation, things like that, and so we're looking forward to it. Every Tuesday we'll have a quick recap broadcast about the fantasy events that happened, right? Who won, who lost, waiver wire wonders, who had the best pickups, who were duds, who were studs, things like that. So yeah, you know how fantasy football is. It's a fight. It really is a fight.
It is.
So,
it is.
But it's a pleasure to have y'all on, man, and looking forward to it. So we'll jump right in. I call this show the Fanatic Sports Podcast with the idea that fan is short for fanatic. Fanatic is a synonym of passionate or crazy, right?
Yep.
But we love that kind of passion on our hip. Who's got the pick?
That's it.
The pick is in.
It's in.
But so either one of y'all can go first. Kind of like we were talking before. Give us a story of your favorite team. Your favorite team and kind of how you became a fan of that favorite team.
Well, if I start my favorite team,
is
the Dallas Cowboys. So they gonna tear me up. I've been getting torn up for years, and that's the thing. I even posted it on Facebook. I said I know you guys got to be tired, but I don't even play the game. I'm tired of it. They always come looking for me, and they playing it. So they should feel worse than I do. But I'm getting tortured. It's all Jerry Jones' fault.
Yeah, it is,
man. That's what me and Beans talk about all the time. Jerry Jones has got to go. Man. He's got to go.
James, are you a Cowboys fan too?
No, I'm not. It's kind of I grew up a 49er fan, believe it or not. Okay. Joe Montana, Jerry Rice. You remember when Joe Montana was traded to the Chiefs?
I do.
So yes. So I kind of followed him too. So now really I'm a diehard Chiefs fan.
Okay.
So I've been to a few of their games. Actually going to the one in Jacksonville in October on Monday night.
It's gonna be a blast.
It is. It's gonna be nice. So
that's gonna be, and here's the fun thing. I was looking at the Chiefs preseason last night, right? So they actually ended up losing this game to the Bears, but it's the preseason.
Yeah.
Man, I'm gonna tell you something. I don't think there's anything you want to see worse than Patrick Mahomes and that offense after a Super Bowl loss.
That's it.
That was the thing we saw. That was the first thing I said when I saw he hit that dot to who was number 2?
Xavier Worthy.
Yeah. Was it Worthy? No, it's
Thornton. Yes, correct.
This is that which somebody mentioned that in the middle of the draft. They said you guys let maybe one of the fastest receivers in the draft go to one of the strongest arms in offense that is proven to take speed and make it a real weapon. That was a mistake by the other 31 teams in the league.
It is. It's like, well, Beans and I talked, on our podcast. I've mentioned with Andy Reid. Andy Reid, he may not draft the best player in the draft, but he drafts for his system.
Yeah.
And that's why they're so successful with what he does.
And they use them. They use them efficiently. And then I think maybe the smartest thing, what really goes without being said way too often, is that you talk about how they use a guy like Tyreek Hill, right? And they don't pay him. They trade him. They get a ton of draft capital. Miami goes and pays him, and I don't think he sniffed the playoff since. And then they went and took all that draft capital and made even more. They went and picked up the running back. That dude runs like he hates the ground. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they got so many guys that are just dangerous weapons, and the ability to take care of the team and what they do. It's impressive. Their dynasty has been impressive to watch. So I'm from Arkansas, and so naturally in the state of Arkansas, we got a bunch of Cowboys fans. Of course, Jerry Jones is from Arkansas.
Yeah.
And so, but a lot of disgruntled fans just the same. Tell you something, Beans, you talking about it made me laugh when you said how tortured you are as a fan. I think about this a lot, and it's the same thing for Razorbacks. It's like, hey, I don't know if y'all know this or not, but I've been talking crap all week and saying that y'all were gonna win. Can y'all do anything to help me here?
Right.
Do you know that we're gonna suffer? I mean, they got their NIL money, they got their big money in college and in the pros. Oh, that's great. Can y'all go out there and play like y'all might be embarrassed if we lose? Because I'm going to be embarrassed if we lose. I need you to go out there and really do it.
They used to get me back in 2015, 2016. I worked at a gas station. Every time the Cowboys lose, Monday, that place would be packed with people not ready to buy it. Don't need the gas. They're already on full tank. They just want to talk junk to me.
Can you at least buy a candy bar before you start talking trash?
So exactly. What was you saying? The day after a Cowboys loss, you called in.
Unfortunately, I was the assistant manager. I couldn't do it.
Oh, man.
Terrific, man. So have you guys had a chance to watch much of the preseason?
I haven't.
Okay. Yeah, we haven't watched much. But I'm looking forward to September 4th to be watching.
Yeah, well, when it all counts, that's when That's the most important part is when it counts.
So that's that first night, Philadelphia and Dallas. They even no mercy. Yeah, we opened up on it
right out of the gate. Goodness gracious,
just no respect.
They weren't looking. They weren't looking to say anything nice. But I'll tell you what. So, and I'm a Steelers fan. So, obviously, it don't matter that much to me. What I'd be one of those people beings that pull up to talk to you. Now, I get some things to make it look like it was before I just started talking trash. But yeah, I would definitely be in the same boat, talking trash. But as a Steelers fan. I the first thing I did when I bought Madden was I said, man, I gotta see how good George Pickens is gonna look with y'all's team. And I know why they did it, but it hurts still that they did it. But I'm gonna tell you what, man, looking at that team, especially if they can get Micah Parsons back in the fold, which we might be, Jerry said something the other day, and I don't know how much it was true, but just the same. Jerry said something that kind of, I feel like the way I don't know if Mike is ready to come back, but either way, like, if they get Michael Parsons back in the fold, they actually got some really good defensive pieces. They've got good pieces all over the field. And if Schottenheimer doesn't just like blow it, I mean, I'd like to think that they got a chance to actually be competitive and possibly, I don't know that I got them winning the division. Even though, like, the division itself is, the NFC East had a repeat winner in 15 years or something like that.
Yeah, that's the curse of the NFC. So I look for, and it won't be the Eagles leading. It may be, and I hate to say it, the Commanders.
I can see. So here, and this was the thing that when I went back and looked at it, because again, I'm playing Madden, and Madden doesn't equate to the game, and we got a lot of football to play between now and January. But if everyone stays healthy, and that's a big if in this league, that's you got some that's going to be a dogfight in the East. I like, and here's the part that's going to shock a lot of people is that the Giants. Their defense is going to come along real well. Last year, that defense was I ain't gonna lie, it was winning me fantasy games just with their ability to get home to the quarterback with that front seven. They could stop the run. Dexter Lawrence, one of my other co-hosts, his nephew played against Dexter Lawrence. And Dexter Lawrence, of course, is a mountain of a man. And he is, rightfully so, he has earned the respect of a lot of different offensive coordinators and cost him a lot of sleep at night because that man it takes three people to block him and that leaves those linebackers wide open. So that defense is going to be mean. And then you add Abdul Carter to that defense and some other good pieces. They got some good safeties on the back end. This is going to be a good defense. So literally, whichever person they decide to try out at quarterback, they just have to not throw it to the other team a little bit. And they're going to win 8-9 games, I believe. You talk about the Commanders. That's another really good team in the division. And they've got some solid defensive pieces. They pick up Von Miller, who I think will be good. We talked about the Cowboys and their pieces, and of course, when you're Super Bowl champ with everybody under contract, so there's not any distractions. There's nothing but going forward with this. That NFC East is going to be scary. I'm thankful to not be in that division this year.
Last year, you can ask Beans. Last year, I picked the Commanders to win that division. Came close.
Yeah, you're right there. You're right there.
And I liked when last year Jalen Daniels coming out of the draft. I thought he was the better quarterback, and at that time, and which he played up to what I expected him to do. He done excellent.
Well, I'll tell you, I didn't expect either one of them to be nearly as good as they were. What Daniels did, and it was really simple, really smart on their part. And I think probably the most interesting thing is that which. As a Cowboy fan, you'll know, and I saw him as a watching when he coached the Falcons. But we're talking about this is a smart coach up in Washington, and so he takes.
I don't know why they let him go. They should have fired McCarthy last year.
let him take over the helm. Yeah,
he hung around for 3 years waiting for Jerry Jones to drop the axe, and he wouldn't do it.
And the best part is that they went and the question everybody always asks, and it kind of goes back to what you said literally at the top, James, is that until Jerry Jones decides, hey, I can't do this by myself, the Cowboys are going to continue to struggle. And to be fair, I'm not sad about it. But I'll tell you, like once Jerry relinquishes, which you remember, what was that? Was that 20 when they drafted 16 when they drafted Dak and Zeke? You could see somebody was making some really smart moves. I want to say even going back to 14 and 15, using high draft capital to get to to build this line, and then you put a great running back in front of him, and then you get a really smart quarterback behind that line. You got what you need right there, and we saw the fruits of a dominant offensive line and a dominant offense while everyone was healthy for 2 or 3 good years. And it got me to thinking. I was like, but I'll be honest with you, it scared the living daylights out of me, because I was just like, man, I can't have the Cowboys being good right now. The Steelers were stinking it up at that point, and where I was working, we had a bunch of kids from Plano that would come to the bar I was working at, and man, every week they were just letting me have it. And
that's how I feel. That's what they were doing.
But I mean, until Jerry relinquishes that, that's probably been the biggest hindrance to the Cowboys the last 15 years, is that nobody wants to coach under Jerry because you don't have full autonomy.
That's it.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to play under Jerry because you don't know what he's going to say or do. You're losing. He doesn't want to pay people on time, and so now you're overpaying. Because to be frank, Dak didn't play great enough to earn the contract he got, but at the same time, he played too well for you just to let him walk.
Yeah.
And for nothing, and so and then you got to start over. So when it could have been taken care of all at the same time. So I was really shocked. It's been a mess under Jerry, and that's tough.
It is. I think he needs to just step back, let somebody come in, let them do their thing, let them do the drafting. I think that's the biggest problem. Yeah. Jerry's sticking his nose in too much.
Yeah, well,
it's like me and James, we talked about it one time on our show. Jerry don't care if they win or lose. Jerry is looking at he's not looking at a stat sheet. He's looking at the bank account. He's looking at, long as the Cowboys still make money, he doesn't care if they win or lose.
And listen, they're one of the more profitable franchises in all the country. So, he's not wrong, but at the same time, I would honestly think about, if I was a Cowboys fan, I would honestly think about, maybe doing some sort of boycott or something. I don't know. I mean, like that's almost the right thing to do at that point, because it's just a mess to see what he's doing to that team.
I'm with you. I've even said on our show that that the city of Dallas or somebody, they could come up with a petition, get enough signatures to make him sell the team.
Yeah,
because he's not trying to win.
Yeah, and at some point you're literally you're damaging yourself, you're damaging your fans, you're wasting people's money, and until that money starts hitting his pockets, then we'll see a difference in everything.
Right. Because here's what happened. He bought that team in '89 for $144 million. That's all he spent. That team is currently worth, I think it's around like $10 billion.
Yeah, they are.
He made major money on it, and as long as it's making money, he doesn't care.
Yeah, yep. It's clear and present that he's not interested in doing anything that's going to actually benefit the team. And so, like, again, and I think that was the most shocking part for me, was that that you look at that team and how they've been drafted and how they've been constructed, and you look at some of those pieces, and when you get done totaling up everything, you say, hey, this isn't a bad team. Javonte Williams isn't like the most sexy name at the running back position, but he's a more than capable player.
Yes, he's a good back. He's a real good back.
Yeah, I think he could be really well, especially, they put together a solid offensive line. And I could see him, I wouldn't go too far over 1,000. I probably wouldn't even, if I am a betting man, but I probably wouldn't bet on much more than 1,100 for him. But if he's healthy, I can easily see that.
I agree with you 100%. I think they're underestimating him there in Dallas. I do.
Without question. I mean, he was productive in Denver, and I'm shocked they kind of let him walk. But I know there was a lot of really good running backs in this draft, so I get it. But at the same time, man, listen, there's an opportunity for him in Dallas, and we all know that when you get a good running game behind Dak becomes very, very efficient. And so in a division where a lot of players, the Giants are going to beat the Commanders one game out of two. My co-host is probably on Instagram pulling his hair out right now. He's a Commanders fan, the angry Puerto Rican. Y'all get a chance to check him out. Man, when he sees this, he's going to be hot as a 6-shooter. But I mean, I see it. I see the Giants. The Giants might split with the Cowboys and the Commanders this year. That's how good I believe. That's how much I believe in their defense. Is that I think they'll split. And I definitely don't. They'll probably still be at the bottom of the division, but I think it'll be with 8 wins. So
I think Dallas will take both games because I believe in that Giants offense won't do good.
All right, yep, that's the great equalizer, isn't it?
So what you're saying, it's going to be like a 9-6 ball game, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I would, but that bitch is going to be just an absolute dogfight every week. Those games. I'm going to watch those games with great certainty, great eagerness, because I think it's just going to be heavyweight punches going all around. So I think it's going to be exciting to see that, man. Are there any other divisions y'all are looking at that as we get ready to approach week 1 here in a couple weeks?
I tell you, I don't know this year.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say next year is the Chiefs division. I think it's going to start with the Chargers. I think the Chargers are going to be on the surge with Harbaugh being there.
Yeah.
I don't know if this year they'll put them over the hump or not, but it's going to start tightening up. You got Denver there. I think the Chiefs got a couple more good years before you start seeing that division start flipping a little bit.
I give the Raiders a couple years to train. They got a good running back in that draft, they got the tight end before that. But I still don't think I don't see it.
It's not. There's still so much, and I'll tell you what was the most shocking thing. So I had a guy on. Shout out to the Sportsman. He's pretty big on Instagram, and so he's been doing a lot with Instagram and TikTok, and he covers a lot of Raiders stuff, and we talked a little bit about losing Christian Wilkins and what that means for their defense. And they've got another team with some really good pieces, but losing the big man in the middle like that, I think is going to hurt. Now they've got some replacements that made them feel comfortable with the Raiders with cutting him, but still, when you lose that level of talent, especially this close to the season, that's going to have a negative effect. But I feel like that's another division where it, like you said, it's going to kind of tighten up with Denver, and I think it all starts with the quarterback play. And if you don't have, and trust me, as a Steelers fan, I can attest to this. I don't have to ask anybody. We haven't had good quarterback play in probably 6 years. Yep. We haven't had elite level quarterback play in 10 years, and that's why we hadn't won a playoff game in 10 years. But when you look at the lack of a quarterback play, it hurts your team in so many ways. But Bo Nix came in and he was really, really outstanding for Denver. I believe if and I think that may be the next step for the Raiders is to find that franchise guy long term. We like Geno Smith, but I don't know that he's going to be. He's certainly not a splash. I think he can win if you put him in any other division. I think he could win and it would be okay. In that division, it's the Chiefs here, it's everybody else here, but right here that gap's closing, and then this is tight. With all three of those teams, the Chargers, the Raiders, and the Broncos are all going to really duke it out. And I still see an AFC West team taking a second place, or a second place team taking a playoff spot.
I do too.
This year's playoff tournament. So I think it's going. I honestly think that we're going to take the second wild card. The Steelers will, and from the AFC North. I think the Browns are a mess. I don't know. I know I was looking at some highlights. Shedeur didn't have a super great game, and then they're already fighting in the quarterback room, him and Dylan Gabriel. So that's a mess as well.
I look for somebody to get cut. You're not going into the season with 5 quarterbacks, because if you got 5 quarterbacks, you're gonna have you're missing your specialty people, some wide receivers or something. You're not gonna go. So either I see Kenny Pickett is gone.
Yeah, Pickett's out of there.
Yeah,
Deshaun Watson is staying on the because he got all that guaranteed money. So if they can't cut him, they got to pay that up. So they'll keep him. They gonna keep Flacco. So it's either Gabriel or Sanders.
So me, Sanders. I'll put Sanders. He's your number 2 quarterback right now, I think.
Yeah, I would say so too. But the owner didn't want him and doesn't actually like him. And,
he doesn't. Yeah.
And what this is a really interesting thing that's going to happen. I believe. I think if they keep Sanders, I think we see Stepnowski and whoever I forgot the GM's name, but all 3 of them. I think all 3 of them are out the door if they keep Sanders. And so the question becomes, but if you put Sanders on the practice squad, he's gone tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
You can announce him on the practice squad today, and he'll probably be gone today. I mean, that kid,
by lunchtime,
he can play. That kid can play. I think he can
ball.
I told Beans, I thought this last year he was a better quarterback in the draft.
Yeah, I was shocked that Tennessee went. I don't think they made the wrong decision by going with Cam Ward, but
did you see where they compared Cam Ward's numbers to Shadour's numbers?
Ooh. Now, was this
Cam is horrible.
Was this
for the preseason. Oh. Cam only had 1 touchdown, and he got that the last game.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, I know who was it? Van Jefferson dropped a bad one that should have probably gone for a score as well. And this is the beauty of football for me, is that I love that it is the ultimate game. Ultimate team game, I should say. You can be as good as you want to by yourself, and you can place dots wherever you want and make all these great throws. It don't mean nothing if the receiver don't catch it. It don't mean nothing if the left tackle don't win his one-on-one pass block. It don't mean nothing if the running back doesn't pick up the blitz. So, it all plays. All 11 guys have got to work together, or we get nowhere.
That's true.
That's the thing I love about the game. But I think that Cam is going to put them in a good place. I don't think he's going to win the Rookie of the Year. I actually think Jensen's going to probably take that Rookie of the Year award offensively anyway.
Probably so, because there's too many quarterbacks in there that's rookies for a quarterback to get it.
Yeah. All right. So look, man. First of all, thank you again for y'all joining. This is Cool Beans and James from the Vets Plus Sports talk show podcast, and you can check them out on Facebook, and then YouTube is where y'all spend most of the time, right?
Right. We have more fans on X. We mostly do X, YouTube, and now we'll start streaming Facebook as well.
Yeah, gotcha. I've been putting myself out everywhere just because I one thing I learned a while back is that, thanks to this thing being in your hand, there's no more looking up. I remember, it's been 15 years now. Someone approached me about, I used to do promotions for a long time, and someone approached me about the idea of putting an event on the big signboard, the big
billboard.
Billboard on the freeway. And I wanted so badly to do it because that's such a big time thing. But the truth of the matter is, nobody's looking up. Everybody's looking down.
That's it. Yeah.
So even more so, I thought about getting a website. I purchased the website name a while back, and I never got to use it because one is a ton of work to make it look good and host it and all of that. But more importantly, man, nobody's really going to those websites, man. Everybody's on social media. So I just said, here's what I'll do. I'll just you ain't even got to come look for me. You'll see me. It won't be hard to find me on your favorite social media. So we're everywhere. Right now, we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. That's where we are currently live. And so I got people everywhere. And so again, it ain't hard to spot me. And actually, probably about 2 weeks or so, I'll be on TikTok as well. So, and actually I'm on TikTok right now. And so like a lot of these clips will go from here to. I know you had told me something on Opus Clips. You sent that to me on Opus Clips, and I I've been thinking. I think I'm actually gonna probably go back to Opus Clips because their AI is really really cool, and what they picked the right.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. So StreamYard does the same thing, and I was like, oh great, because that was $30 I could put back in my pocket. But it's they find you clips. But like Opus Clips, like everything they do works so much better when I post it on there. I got thousands of views, whereas these are getting like hundreds. So probably gonna go back to Opus Clips. Might actually pay that when I get off here. But one of the Opus Clips you sent me is, before I say that, I gotta say happy week 0. All right. I know I see in the background, James, you got West Virginia going, man. Look, man, we down here I'm in Baton Rouge now. I'm in Louisiana.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, and so this is this starts the religious holiday of college football.
They had some games today. It kicked off today with a few.
I wanted to start with that, man. Tell me a little bit about. Did you guys get a chance to check out any of the games today?
I looked at the scores.
Okay.
I work a night shift, so I slept most of the day today. But I checked the scores out today.
Yeah. So I called this. I'm looking forward to putting this together. That I did call Iowa State over Kansas State. I like Iowa State's defense, and they did not disappoint today, man. They were really, really good. But what kind of set me over the edge, and I watched part of the game. Thankfully, I got a little nervous. I'll admit it. So and me and Biz was talking about this in the Facebook chat, man. I'm a manager at a hotel. I work all over, man. Whether I work overnight, sometimes I work evening 3 to 11 shifts. Sometimes I work 7 to 3. Sometimes I do all 3 shifts in one different week. So imagine what my sleep schedule is like. But we couldn't find a remote, man, in the lobby. And thank God it was stuck on the right channel, so I got to check it out. But man, Rocco Beck, that's the name to remember at quarterback. This kid, and he doesn't have great skill. Have super great accuracy. He's not even that fast, but what he is he's a winner. You can just tell he's got a swagger that is unmatched in the country. He's got top swagger. He's full of confidence. And when you get that, I played left tackle. I played for a small school in Southwest Arkansas, and we had a kid that was kind of like that too. He wasn't the best at anything. We had a big old pretty kid. He was 6'5", 220 pounds. He could even run a little bit. Big old arm and everything. But we had another guy that he would walk in the huddle and you knew to hush up when it was time to hush up. You knew, he was that guy.
Yeah.
And you just knew that whatever it took, he was going to do it, and we were going to get that first down. If it's 3rd and 3, he's getting 4. If it's 3rd and 11, he's getting 12 somehow. Rocco Beck is that kind of guy, man. So I was super excited about that game. And had a blast getting to actually watch it. And I don't know if you guys got to see that 4th and 3 that they converted for the touchdown to ice the game. It was all over the highlights. You'll see it on ESPN. It'll be on the top 10 probably this week. There's not a whole lot of football right now, so this is as good as it gets. But yeah, they did end up winning that game. So it wasn't a touchdown, but it was right there to end the game. But it was 24-21 final score. But both teams are really, really good. But no, they've got a nice little team up in Iowa State. I don't know if they're going to compete for anybody's conference championship or anything, but I think from what I saw today and what I expect to see the rest of the year from them, their schedule is going to lay out real well for them. So
I think
that
conference is probably wide open. That conference is probably wide open right now.
Yeah, they're in the Big 12, and so that's the thing. I look for Colorado to be pretty dangerous in that conference, but at the end of the day, with Arizona State, they got some guys there that are going to be. They got some players in the conference. It should be a fun to watch that conference. Are there any now? Next week is the big week, right? They've got
Texas and Ohio State.
Yep.
Is that the one you're thinking of, man? That's the highlight. I think of the week is Texas and Ohio State.
What do you think? You think could that be a preview of the national title game?
Very easily, very possibly. And I actually wanted to get to this clip that Bing sent me of you guys talking, because I wanted, when we talk about college football, and again, we just talked about it in the pros, and it's eked its way into college as well. You talk about quarterback play and what it means to play. You have a pretty good take here. I don't think it's too hot, but it's a good take right here, and I'll give it a run.
Texas has got the best quarterback in the country by far, in Arch Manning. By far, they got the best quarterback in the country, and he's an athlete compared to his uncles. So we'll see.
But no, I absolutely agree with you. You know you're a good team when in this division, in this conference, when you're talking about they've been comparing that Texas against the field in a conference this dominant and this talented. To think that you can put all your money on Texas on one team and feel good about it is shocking. So one of the things that makes the conference so dominant this year in particular is the number of high-level quarterbacks that are going to be making some plays going into the season. Are there any quarterbacks in the SEC aside from Arch that stick out to you?
I'm trying to think right now.
I'll throw you a couple names out there. So one of the ones. So I had this conversation with shout out to the girls at Sports on Court. They're now, to be fair, they're Bama fans. Listen, I can't wait. I'm taking that clip and I'm sending it. Just that clip. They're Bama fans, and we all busting laughing. They're not gonna be happy. Brought up a good point. So there's Jackson Arnold. This is a top tier level guy, 5-star guy that ended up getting benched in Oklahoma, and he went down to Auburn, and he's with Hugh Freeze down in Auburn. Hugh Freeze is a great offensive mind, and when you put a good offensive mind with a talented type of quarterback like Jackson Arnold is supposed to be, you expect big things from him. I think that he could be really good for Auburn if the level of desperation that both of them should have, with Hugh Freeze kind of being, he's had some real lackluster years the past few seasons, and part of it is because they don't have great play at the quarterback position. But that level of desperation should pair well with Jackson Arnold needing to prove to everybody that he is the guy that they said he was coming out of high school. I think that plays a part. I like Lenore Sellers in South Carolina. I think that he can actually be a big time playmaker. If you remember, I think when he kind of came on my radar when he himself beat the pants off of LSU. His defense let him down, but he beat the pants off of LSU, and I think he's going to have a dynamic year. There's another team all right. So being from Arkansas, I can tell you, I don't like these folks down here. Their football teams stink. Don't get me started on baseball and basketball, but their football teams are terrible to me. But and the guys in my church men's ministry are shaking their head right now, but they're used to it. But I kind of learned who's who based off of how badly they beat or what they do to LSU. And so A&M's got a guy, Marcel Reed. This kid can run by anybody. You're not gonna win a foot race with him. And he just happens to have. He's under what's the head coach's name from Duke that came over to A&M last year, and he's another great offensive mind. So you're talking about good pairings of good offensive coaches to go with talented quarterbacks. I see the same thing in Arkansas. I don't know what our defense is going to do. Our defense might be made of paper mache, but our offense is going to be humming come conference time, just because we've got another guy. I dare to compare Taylor Green to a Vince Young. He's long and lean, 6'6", and he's from Texas as well, and can run like a deer. He's got a big arm. The problem with Taylor is he turns it over a little too much, and we were 10th in yards. Arkansas was. The problem is we gave the ball up too much, and
right.
You got to have it to score, and
You do.
That's what my offensive coordinator used to say all the time, man. So, you got to keep it if you want to score it, man. So, but that there's some guys that are going to make some plays, and of course, Arch over there with Sark, and it's the Arch Manning show now, right?
Ewers is gone, and he done went pro, so.
The interesting argument that I get from a lot of people was, if he was so good, how come he couldn't beat out Quinn Ewers?
To me, I think he should have been starting over Quinn. That was me.
Honestly, I think he did beat him out. It's just that the coach is one of those, they have some of them coaches have loyalty, like, okay, this is his year, it's his senior year. You're gonna come in afterwards. But I thought Arch was the better one, because remember when Ewers got hurt.
Yeah,
and Arch had to come win those games. As soon as he got better, Ewers got back in, but the offense kind of slowed down.
Yeah, well, so I'll tell you one stat I think about with Arch Manning to Quinn Ewers, and just that comparison. When Quinn Ewers last year, his average passes, average reception, yards per reception was like 7.3 or somewhere in there, but it was under 8. And Arch's yards per reception was 10 plus. It was almost 11. It was like 10.5 or somewhere in there. The only thing that I thought when I think about Ewers compared to Arch Manning was Manning threw a lot of interceptions. He turned the ball over a good deal because he's a gunslinger a little bit. And something that I think, and I don't know that it's necessarily a hot take, but it's kind of what I've seen based off of the way they started using after Ewers got hurt and Arch came in, and then Ewers came back and took over the helm. They started using Arch the same way they were using Tebow, and it struck me a little bit like James said. He's obviously and this is for those who haven't been sleeping under a rock for some reason. This is what's his name? Sean, right? Is it or Cooper? Or what was the older brother's name that went to Ole Miss?
Cooper. Yeah.
It was Cooper's. This is Cooper's son. So Peyton and Eli had the big arms. Cooper was the fastest guy of the brothers, and he played wide receiver. Now he could play quarterback as well. If I remember in high school, they said he played quarterback, but he went to Ole Miss, and he was just a natural. He was a natural quarterback, or a natural receiver.
Yeah, he was fast. But he got hurt. That was the only reason why we didn't see him.
Eli Payton was not fast.
Not a little bit.
Pocket passers.
So first of all, let me say thank you guys for your service. That's coming from our co-host Anthony Roman, the angry Puerto Rican. And then after that, he says, so we just let any college fan on it. Listen, we don't call him angry for nothing, man. And I knew he was watching. I'm not going to repeat what I said. He's just going to have to go back and watch what I said about the Cowboys and Commanders. It's not important about the Giants and Commanders. He's gonna be. I'm gonna get a phone call after this, and it's not gonna be a pleasant one. I can tell you now.
Well, no, you did better. You said they'll go 1-1 and split. I said we gonna go 2-0 because I believe that offense ain't gonna do nothing. He's gonna be more mad at me.
It's time for him to win the division. I can see that. So I would say, man, I think looking at the quarterback play. In college is gonna be exciting, man. Obviously, aside from Texas and OU, we also get LSU and Clemson. I think that's gonna be a fun game, also because I think Clemson's gonna win that game, and not just because I hate LSU. I think that LSU, Brian Kelly takes a little bit of time to get going, and so that's. I mean, like they always end up by the end of the season, they got a well-oiled machine, and I actually feel like Nussmeier probably is going to win the Heisman, to be honest with you. You look at those second years under Brian Kelly, you look at those second years in the offense. Look at Jaden Daniels from a couple years ago. Jaden Daniels is a perfect example of what happens when you get comfortable in Brian Kelly's offense. But it takes them a little bit to get going. That defense has still got to mesh together, I believe. And they got some pieces. But I don't think they're going to be ready for Clemson. Dabo's been training, been prepping his players for LSU since November of last year, man. I think we're gonna see it won't be a massacre. It's gonna be a really good game. But that's a top 10 matchup that I think is gonna be fun to watch. Is LSU and Clemson. There was one other game I was thinking about. Oh, there it is. This one's fun. This is it's a throwback. It's on Sunday, August the 31st. It's what did they call it? The Catholics versus the convicts.
Yeah.
Notre Dame in Miami. That's gonna be fun. Speaking of good quarterback play, now there's a new quarterback in Notre Dame. Right? Riley Leonard is gone. He's in Indianapolis and he might be starting there. Goodness gracious. That is talk about elite quarterback play. That's a mess happening up there with Anthony Richardson has been cast asunder. Rightfully so. And I mean, it's bad when you lose the Daniel Jones. But between with what's happening there, we could see Riley Leonard early. But so new quarterback in Notre Dame, Carson Beck from Georgia, won a ring with Georgia. Now he's in Miami. He's got a good coaching staff down there with him. So I'm interested to see what. And again, I believe it's 2 top 10 matchups if I'm not mistaken. Miami's 10, Notre Dame 6. So
yeah.
But there's some big time play going on all next weekend. So super excited about that, man. Ed says, what y'all think of week 0 so far? And I know part of it. I know we're going based off highlights a little bit. The good news is we still got a little bit of time left to go on the rest of this this weekend, because there's a couple games tomorrow.
Tomorrow as well, yeah. Because they ain't no NFL, so they take advantage of that.
Smart.
It's a smart business decision.
Look, we love football, man. We love football for sure.
I do. I love college. It don't matter if it's NFL. I love watching it all.
Yeah, my partner loves college more than me. I got in college last year when we started this podcast. That's when I started going to college, because I never watched college, because to me, when I was growing up as a kid, they didn't interest me. They weren't getting paid nothing. I was like, why I don't watch them?
I took him to his first game last year.
Where'd y'all go?
Morgantown. Watched who was they playing?
K-State versus K-State. West Virginia.
Yeah, K-State and West Virginia.
So have y'all had a chance to see? Have you had a chance to go to a Pittsburgh, West Virginia game yet?
Yes, I went, and I got tickets again this year. And they're talking about game day, trying to get game day there. I don't know if they will. I hope they do. But I went 2 years ago there, and then I went to the Penn State game last year, and I'm going to the Backyard Brawl this year.
I think they will, and I'll tell you why, man. I've been watching this ACC thing. So one of the bars I work at, I do security on the side as well. Man, I got 8 jobs, dude. I'll sleep maybe 4 hours tomorrow, man. But I've been watching this ACC thing, and boy, they got Pitt's looking like they're going to be a pretty good little team this year. So, but if West Virginia's as good as they've been in the past, one of the things I was scared of, and it felt like it going into rivalry week last year, I was worried that we were, with all this transfer portal business, which I'm not against. I love the chaos that comes from the transfer portal and the chaos that comes from from NIL, because like I said, I played for a small school, and I'll tell you what, man, I watched some kids struggle. I was blessed and fortunate to have my mom and dad and my brother and my sister were very nice to put money in my bank account, money in my pocket, so I could go and spend it on parties and pizza and stuff like that. But I knew a lot of guys on my team. I knew a lot of guys on our rival team that were not able to have that, and they struggled a lot, man. I won't go into even though the probably statute of limitations up on it anyway, but I won't get into what they had to do to survive as players on a football team, but it's just sad to watch. So, man, if you can go and get an NIL deal that'll keep you from starving and whatever, a few years ago, you remember Bryce Young made more money than his offensive coordinator? Yeah. All for it, man. I'm all for it. Yeah. But with the transfer portal and some of these kids and some of the stuff that's happening, around the country with the transfer portal, I was worried that we would lose our rivalries. And I'll tell you, I'm a big fan of rivalries. I was just on behind the sports radio show with Giovanna Scroggins from Dallas, and so we were talking about college rivalries and how cool they are, man. But I love this. I'm not gonna lie. To be completely honest with y'all, I'm a cheerleader for foolishness and a big fan of shenanigans. And so some of that scrappy, chippy football that we saw last year, Michigan and Michigan State, Michigan and Ohio State, Oklahoma and Texas, just some really great rivalries. And even though some of these guys are new to the organization and new to the program and haven't been there that long, at that point, man, look, you're not going to disrespect the colors on the front or the back. You know what I mean? The name on the back or the name on the front. And so I thought it was great to see that level of rah-rah and kind of getting after each other in the rivalry week. So, and I know Pitt, West Virginia is going to be a good one this year.
I think it will. Now, West Virginia with the new coach got Rich Rodriguez coming in and everything. Right now, they're down to 2 running backs right now. They're trying to bring some in from the end. Yeah, they had 2 or 3 get hurt, injuries right now. So they're down to 2 running backs. So
now, is there any sort of limitation on how soon somebody could? Because I don't think you can necessarily transfer right now, but I mean,
I don't know if you can transfer, but you still have like the portal, where I guess where people are still. I think he said there was like 700 players that was still in the portal. I guess they haven't been picked up.
Oh, okay.
All right. They could, I guess, pick up some players that was in the portal still.
They're essentially free agents.
Yeah, it's what they are. Yeah.
So yeah, the same concept. So now the angry Puerto Rican he was born and raised in New York City, but he spent a good deal of time down there in the DMV.
The Hokies.
Yeah, and
that was a big rival game with West Virginia, and we played that a few years ago, about 4 years I think in a row, and then I like that. I missed that rival too. Tech, you had Pitt, and the old Big East.
Yeah, that was one the Big East. I went back and did some research, right? And sometimes I'm a nerd. Sometimes, man, I'll nerd out on these sorts of things. I'm 40, so I'm not super old, but I've ingested a ton of information that I'm not gonna call it useless. You get me in a Trivial Pursuit, we're gonna tear it up. But I couldn't remember all the lesson plans and stuff from school. But I definitely had. I can tell you, name the starting 5 after Jordan retired. It's worth nothing in most places, but I'm good here. So, man, but I went back and I did a little bit of research on the old Big East. And I thought about, when I really sit and think about it, from Boston College to Virginia Tech, West Virginia, Pitt, just Miami.
Miami.
There were some rivalries in that Big East, man, that I would love to see revive. I ain't gonna lie, I'd love to see the conference come back as a whole for football there. But just some of those rivalries were really, really special to get to watch. And the ACC's missing out on opportunity by not featuring some of those rivalries.
Yeah, they are.
So, but I was really, really in that Vatech West Virginia rivalry was definitely one of them for sure. So now from the hardwood guys, I know you guys are also big basketball fans as well.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. So now tell me your teams in the NBA. But I know, James, you're the one with more of the NBA knowledge, right?
No, actually, he does NBA. I do the women NBA. Okay. Well, that's how we do it on our podcast. But as far as NBA goes, my team almost made it. I'm a Knicks.
Oh my God! Here we go. Okay, so like I said, Anthony's from New York, and so he's naturally a Knicks fan. Now to tell you his story, but I'll have to let him tell you. And he told it a couple times on here about how he ended up becoming a Commanders fan instead of a Giants fan. But yeah, he's definitely a Knicks fan, so he's hype about that. James, you got an NBA team?
I don't. Now growing up, I like Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
See, I was never an MJ fan, but I back MJ. I'm a big MJ fan now. You know what I'm saying? You look back on it, you see the greatness that he done. But I grew up watching Barkley. I like Barkley. I pull for the Warriors there, on their little run. But I don't really have a favorite NBA team, but I watch a lot of some of the games. So
you know what, man? So and basketball has a different way of getting, because you can see the faces, right? So it's less about the teams and sometimes more about the face than the teams. Right. And so that's the thing about basketball. So sometimes, like I'll tell you what, I started following the Clippers because I didn't want LeBron to go back to Cleveland.
Yeah.
And so with that, because Dan Gilbert said some salacious things, and you talk about owners, and to be fair with you, a lot of these owners have big egos, and they do a lot of things that that I find questionable. And some of the stuff that Dan Gilbert said when LeBron left, which shame on him, because he and his staff did nothing to really, while they were number one seed for quite a few years and they won 66 games, but they passed on too many really good players that could have come and been that Pippen or that Robin the Batman for LeBron. Shame on him and moreover, be professional. The guy just left your team. You're gonna get the number one pick from this, and it ended up getting they picked top 5 for 4 straight years, and again did nothing with those picks until LeBron got back. So I was not a fan of what he had said about LeBron, and I didn't think LeBron should have gone back to Cleveland. Kudos to him for going and winning the ring for his hometown, as opposed, because I would have been petty, and that sort of pettiness level is probably why I never.
Oh yeah.
But I'm sure I probably could have got much further along in life if I had not been so petty. But this, how some people got to learn to lose because they get so down when they lose. I got to learn to win. I suffered from success. So because of that, when he left my, and it was fun to kind of watch some of their stuff, but lately, Beans, I've been been enamored by Vegas teams when they started putting those teams in Vegas. It started with the Knights, and then of course the Aces. Right. And so I became a fan of the Aces. In the W, you got a W team?
I got one.
Okay,
but it's almost like the Cowboys is rubbed off on them. But it's the Indiana fever.
The fever.
Oh my God! Yeah, man. Well, and you know what? So when you say fever, we automatically think of Caitlin Clark, as we should. That girl can ball. Don't get me wrong. I will never, ever, ever downplay her ability to put ball and hoop, and the way she affects the team, and what she's done has been nothing short of amazing in 2 years. But, they put together a really good team that was waiting on that star. And so it was just great happenstance that they got that pick and got to bring Caitlin Clark in. And she's been what, Mike Tomlin calls as the wave, the straw that stirs the drink and provides the wave that a lot of players around the league, around the W are riding. And so, Angel Reese said it's not just Caitlin, and she's right. It's not, but I mean, like we know who's really kind of making things work. But that draft, and 2 years ago with her and Angel and Cameron Briggs and that group that came in, they've done some special things. And then this draft right behind her is going right behind, and I think Paige Beckers is going to be the number one. Is going to be the rookie of the year.
She's got that sold up.
What she's done has been really, really awesome. But they're also there's so many really good players that are making waves right now, and it's exciting to see. And then we followed that up right behind with Juju Watkins, Hannah Hidalgo, and another really good draft class of really great girls that are going to come in and be difference makers. And with the new teams that are coming in right behind that are also coming in, it's fun to see this. Looking at the Valkyrie out in Golden State and how they've been, they've been competing. I thought, because normally when you get an expansion team, they usually don't do very well.
I know. I was surprised with the Valkyries.
Yeah. So and my ears perked up when they beat my Aces. I'm an Aces fan, and I've been an Aces fan for about 4 years. About around the time that they picked up, they made Becky Hammons the head coach is when I became a fan of that team. And so I've kind of followed them at length, but the last couple of years, even after the championships, I just started watching. I was like, well, this Asia Wilson girl
she's tough, ain't she? She is good.
Good.
Yeah,
she is good.
See, I'm glad you said that because now you actually talked into something that I wanted to talk about. Here's the thing. Did you watch the Fever game last night?
I didn't get a chance to watch that one. I was paying attention to the Aces, but I didn't get a chance to see much of the Fever game. Tell me all about it.
No problem. They embarrassed themselves real bad, and they don't even notice they embarrassed themselves. The coaching staff, instead of dressing regular, they had the shirts that said for Kelsey Mitchell for MVP.
Okay.
And I disagree with that because it's not Kelsey Mitchell's time, because you know why? And I looked at this fact. Kelsey Mitchell, and this is what really plays in part into MVP. Your team has to be a contender for the championship.
Yeah.
And right now they are not that.
Yeah. Listen, I think if you put Caitlin Clark back in the mix, I think they do eventually become a team that will in the next couple of years will compete. But right now, as it sits, I'm not sold.
Yep.
Especially if Caitlin's not healthy, they're definitely not sold.
Right.
Exactly.
So that's kind of the deal. But I'll tell you what, and to be completely honest with you, and I'm saying this not as a journalist but as a fan, man, I was worried about the Aces. They got off to a real slow start.
They did. It looked bad at first, and then when Aja got hurt. When she got hurt and she was out, it was like, ooh.
It made it even worse. But since Asia's come back, she's been hot as a tea kettle, and I think we're about to hit the playoff run, right? And the playoffs don't start when the tournament starts. The playoffs start when as the season starts to kind of come to an end. And so what I did was I looked up the schedule for the next week or so. And there's a couple games here. The Aces play the Mystics. The Mystics are a really good defensive team. Did you see the other night that the Sky beat the Liberty?
Yes, I did see that. Yep.
And I'm gonna tell you something. And I meant to post this, and I think I probably will. You saw double doubles from Cardosa, and you saw double doubles from Angel Reese. If they can get that kind of production, they're gonna be a scary basketball team.
They are, but see, that's their problem. Cardosa and Angel Reese don't like each other.
Yeah.
Here's a fact. I'm gonna let you know. Back in this is when Angel Reese went to LSU. Before she was at LSU, she was at Maryland.
That's right.
And Cardosa was at USC. Yeah. And they got into it on the court.
That's right. They sure did. And they're still fighting.
They're still sensitive about that because Angel Reese pulled a Dejanay Carrington and pulled what's her name's hair.
I do remember. Yeah, I do remember. They got to get over that, and I think that's what's so interesting is to be completely honest. One of the things that's always interested me about the women's National Basketball Association is that women are a lot more emotional.
They are. Yeah,
and they respond differently to that emotion than some guys will. Not to say the guys don't have their temper tantrums and so forth, but it plays out so differently with the women. And I always wonder about that. There's a lot of different things you think about. Part of the thing that caused Carrington to get traded, I believe, was the fact that she and her partner had broken up, I believe, or something like that. There's a lot of emotional effects that go into the women's side of the association. But what I do is I pulled up some of the games that I think are interesting. The Mercury and Sparks, Beans, your Fever take on the Storm. The Storm are a sneaky good team as well.
Yes, they are.
So interested to see. Are there any games that stand out for you guys that you might keep your eye on as far as going into the week ahead?
Fever in Minnesota again.
Yeah, that was the one. I saved that one. I didn't want to say it. I wanted to save that good one for y'all. But that, I mean, and listen. This I talked about this on the radio show a few days ago. That it seems like it's kind of a 3-horse race for who's gonna make it to the final. Somebody's gonna have to lose in the conference finals, but it seems like the Lynx are kind of right now. It feels like they are head and shoulders above everybody.
They are. They are.
And then you got the Liberty and the Aces, and then it's kind of everybody. Now I think when we get to the playoffs, it's a series, so you got to win the games. You can't just roll the ball out there and think that that's all there's gonna be. But because you can get picked off by a Mystics or a Dream or obviously a Fever, the Sky. There's a couple different teams. I feel like when we get to playoff time, they're gonna be super dangerous. But I just think that when it's all said and done, the Aces are gonna have to play somebody, either the Liberty or the Lynx in the conference championship. I don't know. I can't guarantee that they're going to be as hot as they've been the past few weeks.
Yeah.
By playoff time.
Right. Right now, the Aces seem to be they're on a rise, and it looks like Liberty's on a skid right now.
Yeah. So I mean, and look, we're not too far from the playoffs, so anything can happen at that point. But I mean, I think it's those 3 teams and then kind of everybody else.
Yeah, it's like today, I see the Aces won today.
That's right.
And Wilson had 36 points and 13 boards. 36 points.
I think she's just kind of said to herself, hey, I'm going to put this on my back. And they say some great players have that switch. And, D. Wade talked about that switch. He talked about it for himself and LeBron and just where it's just lights on. Kobe was another.
Kobe was another one, yeah.
Well, when it was time, he just knew the perfect time to say, all right, it's on me. Everybody climb on. I got it, and he would take them on a rocket ride, man. And I think we're seeing that now. Look, she was an MVP for a reason. She was a finals MVP for a reason. They won those back-to-back rings. I don't think that was happenstance or coincidence, man. I think that we're witnessing one of the greatest women's basketball players of all time.
I agree. I agree.
She's been impressive, man.
She has.
Well, listen, guys. I can't say thank you enough for joining me. Again, if y'all are just joining, you've actually missed a really awesome time with the Vets Plus Sports. Definitely check them out. Instagram, you said, or no, sorry, Twitter. Now you guys are about to start working on Facebook as well, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, correct. And look, I found y'all on a sponsored bit, man. And again, can't say thank you enough, man. I gave y'all a shout, and it was really, really cool to get the chance to chat with you guys, and even more to get the opportunity to do this and on live for everybody else to see. Anything you guys want to share before we go?
Yes. When we normally close out our show, I don't have the number, but we have a certain number, 988. We always talk about it because, like I said, I'm a Desert Storm vet. I was in the first Desert Storm, and my man James, he was down in
Iraqi Freedom.
Iraqi Freedom. I couldn't remember what the name of it was. I was gonna say just Iraq, but we both were in Iraq. It's just different programs.
Different areas,
yeah. And what a lot of people don't know is when the vets come home, just being in war, it kind of screws your brain. And it's like you're not the same person that you were before you went there. And a lot of us, since, we have a lot of masculinity, a lot of us don't like to talk about our feelings, and they end up committing suicide. And we always say 988. 988 is the Veterans Crisis Line, to where if they're thinking about harming themselves or going out and harming somebody else or anything like that, that's a number they can call. The VA or Veterans Administration will get them the help they need. They will give them the medal because now we're in that era of pretty much the mental health is just a big issue.
It's so important, man. It
is.
So I definitely appreciate y'all doing that, man. That really does mean a lot. And trust me, I know it. It's something that we've unfortunately witnessed probably in all of our lives, as much as mine, as much as y'all's, man. And it's such a big impact, man. So I appreciate you bringing that up, man. That's definitely huge, man. Definitely. Anything else you guys want to do, man? Anything you want to talk about? I still got time.
Next time we do a show, we gotta have you on ours. You gotta
yeah. I enjoyed this.
This has been fun.
It's been fun. I enjoyed this.
Yeah, definitely, man. Well, listen, and you've got my information, man. You can shoot me an email or a message, whatever. As soon as I get to it, whenever I can. And usually I've got a few moments. The other day I was at work while I jumped on, man. So I've got no problem coming on whenever you guys are ready to shoot, man.
Hey, I will mention one thing. We brought it up during the women's, talking about the NBA.
Yes, sir.
Why do you think when we compare, they're talking about LeBron and MJ, why is it always Kobe gets overlooked?
So you know what? I'll tell you why I always overlook Kobe. To me, Kobe is he's like MJ 2.0.
Yeah.
I honestly would say, and he said it, Michael Jordan has admitted it as well, that Kobe learned a lot of what he learned.
He copied him.
He took a lot of pieces he took a ton of it from MJ, but also he talks about Elgin Baylor, Jerry West, a lot of different, and Kobe was sort of a sponge, and he would take that information, digest it, and then re-put it out and then apply it, which itself was, now that I understand the game a little more and I've gotten older enough to appreciate it, that's a special gift in itself, to take information then you digest it and then you reapply it. That's a skill that not a lot of people have.
That's it. Yeah.
But when I think about Kobe, I think about MJ. It's hard to put MJ over Kobe or Kobe over MJ because of what he did. Now, I will tell you this: when I discussed this, so for me, and so shout out to my man Big Mark. I know he's watching right now. One of the things that he does, he says we troll, and as a matter of fact, this is how we just had our anniversary episode, probably almost, I think maybe 10, 12 days ago. August the 14th was our official first episode of last year. And so who'd have thought we made it this far? But a lot of this was birthed out of the idea of just me and him trolling each other back and forth. And I'm Team LeBron and he's Team Jordan. And we're only about 6 or 8 months apart. So we grew up in the same era. We watched the same basketball, and we got two totally different opinions, which is funny. But one of the things I always say, and if I have to be honest, I always say this: 2 things. One, Michael Jordan's legacy is diminished if the only thing you can say that makes him go is 6 wins in the finals.
Yeah.
What Michael Jordan did for the game of basketball as a whole, what he did on a global scale for the National Basketball Association is unmatched. And so if you want me to explain to you why Michael Jordan is the GOAT, I'm talking about his legacy. Look, we were just seeing a reel that I shared on Instagram recently. Michael Jordan makes $300 million a year releasing the exact same shoes that he released 40 years ago.
Exactly.
So if he's making $300 million a year off that alone tells you what his legacy means for the game. Yes, he won 6 finals. He had 6 finals MVPs. He's the greatest scorer of all time. I know what LeBron's points are. He's the greatest scorer of all time. But when I think about what I like to see, that's why I pick LeBron. But what I'll say, and this is my second point, is that where Michael Jordan was the first dominant wing, where Magic was a point guard. There was a point guard who got the ball to burn. Michael Jordan was the first wing that said, I'll bring it up, I'll do it myself, and then I'll go to my spot and score. And I don't have to have the dominant big man to do it. And not only that, but I'll beat the dominant big man.
That's it.
It's impressive. But when I really sit and think about it, you look at Kobe beating especially after Shaq left.
Hello?
Kobe,
yeah.
Kobe getting by some legendary stars to win those 2 rings after Shaq left was impressive, and I think it was harder than what MJ had to go through. LeBron beat a 73 win team, and then he took 2 JV guys. He took me, you, and Beans, and Kevin Love, and other all-stars.
Yeah.
Was impressive. Was impressive in itself. So I think that and another point that I'll always about LeBron is there has not been a repeat Eastern Conference champion since LeBron left. That trend has gone for the last 6 years since he went to LA. I don't want to diminish those 8, 9 trips that he went in a row. That's impressive. But having said that, there's no LeBron, there's no Kobe without MJ, right?
That's right.
If MJ decided to play baseball, then all right. So there's no Kobe, there's no LeBron without him. Matter of fact, without MJ, there's no Dirk, there's no Luka, there's no Giannis, there's no Joel Embiid. We can roll this for days, man.
That's right. Yeah.
There were 3 before the 1992 Barcelona Olympics. Okay, so I mean, we're talking about what his legacy means is well beyond.
Well, you hear Magic and you hear Larry Bird talk about MJ, how he changed the game of basketball.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And do remember, they called him the GOAT in 1980.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we're talking about one of the most special people that ever played the game. People loved him in and out. He had great looks. And he had the fortune of perfect timing with a great commitment behind him. And then, look, you see Magic has to sit down with AIDS. Bird's back tears up in 91, 92 or something like that. Yep. Isaiah tweaks his ankle and he's done in 94. And so it's a perfect timing for Mike to take over in the 90s, and he had the 90s to himself.
He did.
It was impressive to see what he did. But, all in all, when I picked my GOAT as LeBron, and in that argument, I just love that LeBron is a stat sheet stuffer. And I mean, you put LeBron on that team, on pretty much any team, and they're going to win 55, 60 games. But when I'm asked seriously who my GOAT is, I actually still pick Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I think he's disrespected because he won the physical lottery. Being 7'2" and could run like a gazelle and jump like a he was built like a but this dude, he played 20 years. He's in outstanding shape. I mean, he's still in great shape now.
He is.
Yeah, he is.
A godlike figure in Kareem. So that's my GOAT is Kareem. But in picking that, I pick LeBron, but I understand what I'm saying when I pick it, and I know what's coming, and I may be wrong, but I'm hard headed. My mom will tell you I'm hard headed enough to just stick with the wrong answer either way, man. So,
no, you just prove one of the things we talk about on our show when we be on our show.
Yeah.
James say his GOAT is Jordan.
Yeah.
I picked Kobe.
Okay.
And you went with LeBron. So
they're all 3 covered.
Everybody goes.
And the wildest thing is that here's the best part about this, and this is my favorite thing about sports, and I'll let y'all go, man. But to me, my favorite thing about sports is that all 3 of us got different answers, and guess what? We're all right.
Yeah, there you go.
Because I mean, we're talking about 3 of the most talented basketball players to ever lace them up. And the beauty of all of this is the what ifs of it all, right? Because what if Lynn Bias stays alive, right? Or Reggie Lewis was another one they thought, and just all these different names of people who could be that could be just as great. But it takes so much more than just putting the ball in the hoop just on Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? But you got to go do this thing every day, and you got to stay healthy through it all. And I mean it, man. Like when you look at, especially at basketball, when you look at what we've seen is amazing. And so shout out to my man Mac Bryant. He's the football fan historian. He wrote a book called The GOAT Rules. And so he is in his book, he starts to define the GOAT. And not only does he narrow it down, we talked about, and I was telling you about how football to me is football is the ultimate team game, but he narrows it down to who is the best player out of all 11 positions, right? And so, I mean, it's really, really cool to read through this book, man. This guy's got, he's crunched the numbers. He's done some stuff. But when you look at those GOAT rules, I mean, it's one of those things where you sit and you literally got to, like, really play it out, you know, what has occurred. But we're splitting fine hairs, and we're talking about amazing talent getting the opportunity to play, and what they've done statistically, what they've done impact-wise, how they won, how they lost, all that plays such a big part. And so it's really, really cool. And I mean, it's why I love sports, man. And I'll talk to you about badminton, tennis, and soccer after everything else too, man. It all works, man. I love to compete, and I love the game. You know, I love the camaraderie of sports. So it's a blast to get that. And then even now, look, man, my knees are shot.
I hear you. We are shot too. Our bodies are
but
destroyed.
The really cool thing is to get, you know, lately I've been, you know, doing this content fantasy league to get to work with some of these young kids, and I've seen a few of them popping on and off throughout the show. It's so cool to get to meet people like y'all, get to hear y'all's stories, share my story with you, meet some of these young guys that, you know, one of my friends, Ben Rodriguez, man, and I do call him a friend. He's a really great writer, and he's still in school. And so the very first thing I said to him, I added him on Instagram, and in his title line it said "future journalist." And in the first message I sent to him was, "Hey, take that future out, man. I've seen the work you've already done. You're a journalist now." And I always tell that story, and he was like, "Man, thank you." And immediately he took that future out of there, because the beauty of what we do here now, telling these stories and having our opinions, and maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong, it doesn't matter. You got one, and you get the opportunity to share it. That's really, really cool, man.
Yeah, it is.
It's really, really cool. And look, man, we get to make friends. I'm always happy to be friends, you know, to have a friend. And like I said, anything I can do, and not just coming on the show. If it's anything else I can do, man, y'all let me know. I'm on your team, man. I'm supporting you, and I'm
cool
beans. Thank y'all. Yeah. Cool beans.
Oh yeah, that's why they call me Cool Beans, because it's like, it's my catchphrase. I always say it.
Look, I saw you say it like 3 or 4 times, and I got a bunch of friends that say it too. So I didn't think much of it. And then when I went and looked at your Instagram or your YouTube, and I was like, I can see why they call him that. I see why they call him that. Now, speaking of, you're an author as well, right, Beans?
Yes, I had 2013. I got shot and I couldn't work. I was in a wheelchair for 4 months, and I've been working since I was 17 years old. So I don't know nothing. I was 43 then when they shot me back in 2013. So it was like I had to work, and I always had these stories. I always did stories, and I would just, as soon as I finished, throw it in the closet. So I just said, let me just see if I could try to do one while I was in the chair. So that's why I did. That's why I did my work.
Man, that's fantastic, man. I saw that with I think it was the link that you sent me for this video as I was downloading it. I was just like, man, That is really, really cool. I definitely want to make sure. I'm glad I remember that and talk with you about that, because when I saw the Cool Beans, that's when I was like, oh yeah, that's right. He also is an author. Man, listen, I'm just enamored with the opportunity to get to talk with you guys, man. I said it before, and I say it again, man. I really appreciate your service. I know without a doubt I could compete in sports. I don't know if I could ever be a good military person, but I'm always just honored when I get the opportunity to share and talk with folks in the military. And so, you know, and even at that, looking at your story, and that was the description was, you know, two veterans get the chance to talk and offer a different perspective on sports, and it's really, really cool to see that, man. So looking forward to some of the things that you guys are doing. Looking forward to working with you guys throughout that, man. So definitely, again, and I say it again in case you didn't hear me, man. If there's anything I can do, don't hesitate to give me a shout, whatever it is. All right.
Cool beans. I'm on that.
Forward, man. Well, before we go, one last time, man. Tell everybody where they can find y'all on YouTube and Twitter. Or
on
X.
YouTube. On YouTube, I have 2 channels. It's Cool Beans is one of the channels on YouTube, and the other channel is Vets Plus Sports, because I was just using both. And on Twitter, we go under my other. We have a Vets Plus Sports on Twitter feed, but I don't have enough people on there to go live, so I go live on my other one. I had a media company called Daily Brew Connection. It's DB Connect, and we just be going through there. But Facebook will be available under Vets Plus Sports.
Right, man. Well, man, it's a blast to have y'all on. And I've had a good time, man. I was looking forward to it, and you guys did not disappoint, man. So thank y'all again for joining us, and of course, you know, y'all can always see us everywhere. If you're watching this, you know where to find us. So
right,
we appreciate this. Well, look, man, as I always say before I go, man, you know, thank y'all for watching the Fanatic Sports Podcast. And you know, tough times don't last. Tough people do, man. Thank y'all again for watching. Y'all have a great day.
All right, you too.
You too.